Well, they can see so much more of me now. Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh my god, we already have a super chat.
What?
Is that right?
Must be. I don't see it on here yet. Must be catching up.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
We are not at our normal setup because we have both employees in the office today and they're going to be photographing. So we are at a wee little table, so it looks a little bit different, but
it's odd. I don't know how I feel about this very low table. I feel like there's just normally the other one's like right here. It's very odd. So
good morning.
Good morning, Trendy Hunter, my favorite YouTubers. That makes my heart happy.
I don't know if anyone gave us a super chat, but for some reason I see that we got a super chat, but I'm not seeing it like pop up with who did it or if there was a message. So if you did leave us a super chat, thank you so much, and I'm sorry that we can't see your message if there was one.
Good morning.
I don't know why.
CC Lovelace Grace, I hope you don't mind, but I made you a moderator this morning with intentions that maybe you can help us watch for trolls in our dungeon.
Is it?
Yeah, I just did it after she'd already commented.
Okay.
So thank you again, Tanya and Patchwork Vintage Co. for also being our moderators. You guys are still left on from being moderators from a video before. If you guys ever decide that you're like not game and don't want to, you don't have to do anything, but it does definitely help. I saw on the last video, Hannah, that you were kicking some dungeons out. I don't know what they were doing, but I appreciate you. So good morning, good morning.
And thank you to, who was it? Was it Tanya that was putting the links?
It was Little Miss Nat last time.
Oh, Little Miss Nat. Okay.
If she gets on, I'll definitely
really helpful.
say
I know people really appreciated that, so that was really cool.
Good morning from Wyoming. Good morning.
So we weren't really sure what we were going to talk about today, but I do have a topic. We are going to talk about the the bins unwritten rules, which someone asked us, actually a few people asked us to make videos on. There's some people that haven't been to the bins like at all and are kind of terrified to go, so we're gonna actually make like a whole video about that. But I thought we were gonna talk about the bins unwritten rules today, and I thought you guys could help out in the chat. But before we get to that, let's just talk about how the bins have been going. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the more recent like thrift with me videos we've been doing, but we've been trying to go to the bins more frequently to like bulk up, and it's just not been working.
It's been very frustrating, and like I know that like the bins is kind of its own vibe, and normally like we kind of struggle with getting into the bins vibe, but once we've done it for a couple of days or like we've gone, generally things turn out pretty well. I'm not kidding when I say that like it's been atrocious. Like it has been atrocious, and I have not been big by any means on wanting to do them. So even the days we have gone, we've committed to it, we're getting like half of what we would normally get, and it's been very agitating.
Let us know in the comments, how many items do you guys, on average, you know, give or take, some days are better or worse, but on average, how many items do you usually walk out of at the bins? I would say ours is like between 60 and 70 on average. Like some weeks we get like 90, some weeks 50, you know, whatever. But on average, like I would say 70. 70 is a good mark for us. We have not been getting that. It's been like 40, if that.
Yeah, it's been, and it's not been good stuff. So like normally we have like a variety of really good items that we get. So I would say some are like probably generally half are like pretty high value, pretty high dollar for us to resell. And then half are probably a little bit cheaper items that we wouldn't typically pick up in the stores. But right now, like we're literally just skimping by, and most of it's been stuff we wouldn't typically get from the stores, but we're able to get because it's cheaper at the bins. And honestly, it's just a letdown. Like normally our bins is like our go-to place when we start getting a little bit behind. Ooh, I thought that was going. And it hasn't been that way. So it's been kind of frustrating for us because with us bringing in a new hire, we are a little bit behind versus where we would typically like to be. And we're just honestly struggling with the bins and in general. So
Yeah, sourcing has not been great for us. But we did notice, like, we're even struggling at regular thrift stores right now, but we did notice a lot of them are still working on transitioning stuff over.
Yep.
So, like, we'll go in and a third of the store will be shut down because they'll have pulled everything to, like, empty out a rack that they're getting ready to, like, move stuff over on. So, like, there have been times that we've gone and we thought there were new racks, but it was really just them,
Old stuff.
moving stuff. So, yeah, it's not been good. How's sourcing been for you guys? I saw somebody commented about that we had fall aesthetic again. That's what I was going for.
We've been trying to go fall. It's just, I don't know. I feel like this was very springish today, but then like green is very fallish, and I wore pumpkin earrings, so I called it good. So
yeah.
We have a couple people who said that they've never been to the bins,
Yeah.
or that they're very intimidated by the bins, so they barely make it there. We are planning on doing an entire YouTube video on kind of bins for beginners, and just kind of talking about like the unspoken rules and talking about what it's like, showing you guys some footage of what it's like inside, and really kind of helping you guys walk through that.
And some tips.
Yeah, some definite tips and things that work for us as well. So if you have not gone to the bins, or you're kind of intimidated by the bins, it might be a video for you guys to watch. We will talk a little bit about some of that today, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what that looks like. Trendy Hunter, right now we are not bidding on items on whatnot. I want to say WhatsApp. I don't know why every time. Whatnot. We are not currently bidding on anything to purchase, but I have heard that a lot of resellers have done that. It's honestly not something that we've looked at yet, but maybe it might not be a bad idea for us to check out, especially since we're having such a hard time right now, but we have not yet. Let's see what some of these other people say.
I haven't even downloaded it yet, or like tried to create an account. I know some people were like, even though they weren't sure if they were going to use it or not, some resellers are like creating an account because there's like a wait period to get in. And so I know some people are like signing up for it just to have that as an option, but I haven't even done that because I don't think we're going to end up using it.
I got my own Poshmark this week. I did. So I have a problem that I like to shop. I'm obviously not reselling on my own, but I have things that I like to shop, and I like realized that I was on Kaylee's and I was like asking questions, and I was like, oh god, this is literally gonna start popping up, and she's gonna be like, I did not like this item. So I was like, I need to just commit to getting my own Poshmark so I can buy my own things. I can put in my own sizes so I can find my own things. So I do have my own Poshmark. There's never gonna be anything for sale on my Poshmark, but if you want me to buy your stuff, it might be a good way to spam me with your things that I would love. But it was kind of cool to like check out the buying aspect. Fun fact, I've never bought anything off of Poshmark in my life. Normally, if I find something I like, I just tell Kaylee and she makes it happen for me, and then I just give her cash for it, because that's just how I would function. I have ordered off eBay. It was not a great experience for me.
Yeah.
But I also realized that I'm that kind of person that just orders stuff and like doesn't check measurements, so I'm like the worst buyer for everybody. But yeah, I was excited about that. So maybe I need to do that thing too. Whatnot.
Well, Piece of Scrap said if y'all start talking about Whatnot, I'm out.
Oh god, we're not game. You don't have
we're
to
not getting into Whatnot. I'm the same way though. Like I don't watch.
Everybody asks. It's like trending.
It's like, yeah, it is trending. I don't watch a lot of resellers, but the few that I've watched, there is a couple that like have started only talking about Whatnot, and I'm like, but I miss your old content.
Yeah, where's
like,
everything else?
What the heck?
That is not us, so we're gonna keep moving.
Okay.
I
saw a lot of people say like they haven't been to the bins, or they tried it and hated it.
Yeah, the bins are crazy, but a bit fun. I don't have a bins, but a last chance Goodwill, mostly clothes. I normally get 30 to 40 items at a time. I'm struggling with sourcing as well. Very high prices and bad condition. That's another huge thing. Not only have we not been like finding a lot of things, but a lot of the items that we are finding in the stores have not been the best quality. So I don't know what's going on with that either.
We mentioned it in I think our last bins video, but there's a rumor going around that Goodwill is pulling items before they go out into the bins to sell online, and that has been confirmed by what I would consider some pretty
inside sources,
trustworthy sources. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But even though they've started doing that, I just don't see that panning out in the long run. Like, no, I feel like they're gonna give up at some point because it's a lot. It is a lot,
and like. The one thing we always talk about, we've talked about multiple times, is with us being resellers, is every reseller picks up different things. Everybody else has a different business plan, and that all works for them. Our business plan is typically, you know, the sourcing and using comp rates comparable to eBay. But definitely not something that everybody does. So a lot of people just go in and they pick something up because it's a specific brand, but they're not comping things. There's brands we find out about every single day that like we wouldn't know about, and I cannot see a random person at Goodwill knowing about a lot of those. So there is still the opportunity to pick up things that they might not know about that might not technically be like brand names or are like sister brands that people might not know about. But
plus things just change so much. Like,
yeah.
Like I was just talking to her last week, like Lululemon has really taken a hit. Like there's only certain things now that sell very quickly in Lululemon, I've been noticing. So I think we're going to start slowing down on that a little bit. But I mean, obviously at the bins, I'm going to pick it up. But like, I think about those things. If Goodwill's pulling that right now, they think Lululemon's like top notch. And then, you know, a month from now, they're not selling any of it. Like that's just how I see things going and things panning out. But I see a lot of people. Don't forget to add to the complaint box next time you're at the bins. Yeah, we need to do that. It's been a minute.
A lot of people are saying they don't have a bins nearby, or that they've gone and they've gotten so many things that their husbands tell them they can't go by themselves.
Someone just said they got assaulted at a Goodwill.
What? Hold on, I gotta scroll clear to the bottom. Fight
right
ensued. Here. Plus, I got assaulted at a Goodwill on Monday. This Goodwill has 99 cents. Goodwill employees are supposed to place items on the shelf, but she handed them out to her friends. I called it out and a huge fight ensued. I would have called it out too. That would have made me really mad. There's a lot of stores that we've like gone around to that we've noticed have kind of been doing the same thing, but they seem pretty like open as far as like they just tell all the resellers like, hey, come this day because there's like a big like thrift or a big haul that's coming in. But
yeah, I mean, they're definitely not supposed to do that, so
put that in the comment box.
Yeah,
on Goodwill.
Maybe anonymously do it though, because I don't want anyone getting hurt or getting into fights. But good morning,
Little Miss Nat. We wanted to say thank you for dropping all of those wonderful links last week. Yeah,
it was helpful for everybody. All right, let's talk before we get in the weeds. You guys can put questions on anything down in the comments and we'll start mowing through those soon. But let's talk about the unwritten rules at the bins. If you guys have any unwritten rules, basically ones that they don't tell you when you go in that you have to like learn on your own, or a certain like vibe that's going on at your particular bins, drop them in the comments below. Let's talk about ours because I know that some are different. I want to talk about one that has changed recently that you just found out why.
What are we talking about?
I
was reading, sorry.
About unwritten rules at the bins.
Oh.
So like at some bins,
yes.
At some bins, people cover their cart. Like everybody goes and gets a sheet from the linen section and they like leave their cart off to the side and they cover it, and then you look for that sheet when you're going back to your cart. And the reason they do that is to like identify which cart is yours, but also cover what you got, because there's a lot of people who will reach into your cart and pull stuff out and steal it essentially before you've purchased it if they see what you have, if it's a good item. At our bins location, we never had to do that. That was like not a thing. It was not the culture that anybody ever did that. Everybody left their carts open. Recently though, I would say like half of the people now have started covering their carts. We still don't because we use the Hulkin bags, so they're right at our side at all times. We don't leave them anywhere. I'm pretty sure someone would snatch up the bag if we did.
Oh, yeah.
People go crazy over those. But yeah, culture is starting to shift at our bins.
Yeah, so I was standing in line the other day, and you guys have met Kaylee's sister, Shy. We were all at our bins location sourcing together with our new girl, and I finally just asked, like we were waiting on the cashier to check people out, and I was like, hey, can I ask you a question? And this is totally like me. I just start making conversation with random people. But I was like, hey, what's going on? Like, noticed a shift in some people. Like, we've all been talking about the binge drama, and I needed to know. And I was like, I'm going for gold. So I asked, so what's going on? Like, where's everybody been? Like, what's going on? And she's like, I said, why is everybody covering their carts now? Like, something shady going on? She's like, oh, yeah, you haven't heard? And I was like, no. Please tell me. So she did. And she said that people have been swiping things out of each other's carts. not just like their own like things that they're picking up, but actually their own personal items. One woman actually actually had her own North Face jacket stolen out of her cart, which I get is also a piece of clothing, and you probably thought about it. But the problem was is her car keys were in it. So she got stranded at the bins for a couple of hours and couldn't go home because nobody would fess up and give her car keys back. She actually missed picking up her son from school because she couldn't go anywhere. So she's pretty salty about that, and eventually they ended up dropping her keys on the floor, and she found them. She never did get her coat back. And then another woman had somebody like digging through her purse, which you shouldn't leave your purse in the cart anyways, my personal opinion. But she left her purse briefly to run to the restroom, came back, and they'd taken all the cash out of her wallet. So things are definitely shifting as far as like the unspoken rules of nobody messes with anybody. There is one person that I've had take something out of my cart forever ago. It was like last winter. And honestly, like I got it back. We're not gonna talk about how, but I got it back, and I don't think that they would do that again. But yeah, it's definitely shifting.
Don't leave, no matter what the culture is at your bins, like it could change at any moment. So definitely, absolutely do not leave your personal stuff in your cart. Yeah. And I've also noticed people have been very like, we haven't had anything stolen, but I feel like if I wasn't watching it, we would have. But watch your reusable bags that you bring. Like we've been bringing the Hulkins, and I swear, without fail, every time that we brought them, multiple people come up and ask them about them
and touch them. Like they're very close.
Yeah, and like I left it at the end of a bins row. Like I was still near it, but like I wasn't holding it, and someone literally like immediately darted up and was like grabbing at it, and I had to stop them. So, you know, your personal stuff, if you bring your personal stuff, I'd be very, very careful about what you leave in there.
Yes.
Better safe than sorry. Some other unwritten rules that I think are at our bins location, although people do not follow them, but if you're new to the bins, you should probably try to give people their personal space. Like,
yes,
try to. Not everybody follows that, but like if you're digging, if someone's digging in one area, like whatever's in front of them, you should probably let them finish digging instead of like grabbing in front of them and like grabbing stuff. Another unwritten rule at our bins is like people really hate it when you throw stuff into the spot that they're digging in. So like if I'm digging here and someone's beside me and they're like culling through items and they're throwing it right where I'm digging, it's like obviously piling on top of what I'm looking at. It's just super rude. So that's another unwritten rule I think at our bins like people get really upset about. New bins, I know it's different at each location. Like, did you know at some bins, I went to one in our state, it's far away. When I was traveling, they have to get behind a line.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like, I would like to watch bin stuff on like TikTok. I'll like to just search like Goodwill bins, and there's a lot that have like lines you have to get behind, and
they like blow a whistle or something, and then everybody goes like, but they have to get away from it. At our bins location, they like, it's honestly, I would be so annoyed if I were an employee, but like they start removing one bin out of the row of 3 and like literally line floods on both sides. Resellers get so close to the point that employees have to ask them to move because they can't pull it out because people are like flooding them. But at least at our location, you can stand in front of like kind of outline where the new bin's gonna be. And then everybody goes crazy.
I get really mad. I think my biggest thing that I get really angry about is people throwing stuff where I'm digging. Like I know it's gonna happen, but like it's also just super rude, and it just that's why I don't do the bins, because I can't do it. Yeah, it's rude.
Let's talk about the shoe bins.
Oh, if you hold a shoe up and say, if anybody gets this, it's mine. No, it's not. If I find it, I will literally buy one freaking shoe because you're being a jerk.
I feel like people try to like follow like whoever gets it first. So like if someone already had it and somebody like pulls one up and they're like, oh, if anybody sees this, and someone's like, I already have it, actually, like the general consensus is that the person who had the first shoe would get it. But not always the case. We've also had people who like, even digging in clothing bins, they're like, hey, if you guys see Harley Davidson, like make sure to give it to me because I'm a biker. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Like that's not how this works. So kind of some unwritten rules and just courtesies that I thought I would share. If you guys have any, you can drop them in the comments down below.
We have some that have said not to bring a purse, to wear like a fanny pack.
It's a good point.
Kaylee wears a backpack. I've been looking for a backpack.
I was wanting a fanny pack.
I think that that's a really good option as well. Or like me, I don't know where I put my phone. I keep this just like handy dandy old school, like, oh, somebody's calling me. Denied. This handy dandy like pop open case so that I can keep my cards in it. So I like having that, and I don't have to really worry about people like taking my purse or anything. I always leave it in the car. Fanny packs are a good idea. Backpacks are another good idea. I'd make sure that they like zip or clasp just in case, so people don't just like come behind you and open up your bag.
Your card information was not shown, right? Okay. I
She's
was
all
like,
concerned.
you did that. I
She's
was
like,
like, oh my god.
No, you're fine. Oh, it was yours. No, I'm just kidding. She's like, oh god. Yeah, no, it's good. Talking about people bringing their own bags because there's not always carts available. That is a huge shutout. Even if you don't, or even if they have carts, whatever, we always like to bring, or we used to bring IKEA bags because they would give you just like regular, like oversized plastic bags, but like they rip and they're really heavy. So we would bring our IKEA bags or like reusable bags just to throw our stuff in once we were finished when we have carts. Now we have the Hulkins, which I really do like those because you can keep them really close. They fit underneath the bins tables. So like if you're digging and you don't want to have them in anybody's way, you can shove them under the table.
If you guys don't know what Hulkin bags are, they're essentially like oversized, giant, tarpy, reusable bags, but they have wheels on the bottom.
They
and
are top notch.
Yeah, they essentially most of the time stand straight up. So they're like open all the time for you to just toss stuff in. So it's like almost like a rolling basket beside of you. And we haven't used a cart since because we don't really need to.
Hold on. A question. Kaylee's got this.
All right. Whatnot. You guys are cracking me up with the whatnot.
Are you good to drive?
Just watch out for shipping costs if you bid on whatnot. Yeah, I don't know how that works. I don't know if you decide what the shipping costs are or if people just get charged retail or what. A lot of people said they would not recommend it as a reseller. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things and bad things about whatnot. I think you have to really have a following for it. Patchwork said that she just downloaded it and was surprised how cheap people are selling items on there, but others doing very well. That's the consensus, is that you have to sell items cheap to get sales over there. And that's kind of why we're not really into that. We put too much work into that.
It wouldn't be bad, I guess, if you only shopped at the bins and like got some good stuff. But like even the bins pricing, like I don't know if that'd be enough price wise, like even cheap wise, to be able to handle it. So
Missy B said she just started on Poshmark and sold 2 Aria boots within a week.
That's good.
Awesome.
That's a good find too.
If you guys aren't on Poshmark and you want to sign up, I do have a link in all the descriptions, and if you sign up using my link or really anybody's link, you will get a $10 Poshmark credit, which is basically like a balance that you can use on Poshmark for anything. So you could find like an item for $10, use your $10 shopping credit, and then just pay the shipping. But it's down below if you feel like trying it. That way you at least get a coupon instead of just signing up randomly.
Sorry, I'm reading.
You know what Nikki and I do? If you have more than one person with you, is we like to, like, she goes on one side of the bin and I go onto the other side, so that we always can like block out like an area, and then we just kind of work through it to make sure that we get everything. That's a really good strategy, I think, if you have more than one person versus like one of you's down there, one of you's at another one. Like, I think it's really helpful to like go with somebody and be across from each other, especially at new bins. Sometimes when we do go to new bins, we'll try to do the same thing where we block.
You can push through people kind of that way, and like you keep them moving down as you move, and then you literally get to touch like every single item as you're going through. We really like doing that.
Always remember to bring a bag.
Yeah, we talked about bags.
We
talked about not having carts.
There was a huge shortage of carts at our bins like a few months ago, and we were bringing our shipping wagon. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but we brought our wagon and literally like stacked full IKEA bags up and we're tying it around the handle and stuff. Like, but
you gotta get resourceful, guys.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go in there without some kind of container.
So Thrifty Mommy Chloe said they were checking out our stores, wondering what we photograph weight. I like the idea. Thank you. I started doing it for heavy items to cross post. Would you recommend doing it for all? We do it for our items just because when we do the listing, we have the photo right there. When we do calculated shipping, we know exactly how much that item weighs. To go ahead and put that into the description rather than like handwriting down every single one or like trying to remember or doing like estimated shipping. So because we do calculated shipping, we just take a picture of it and we have it to send down. Plus it like shows the buyer for sure that that's what the item weighs when you ship it. I think that kind of gives them like almost like a level of honesty that they know it's there. They know like the shipping charge is legitimate. I know we get a lot of questions sometimes about shipping. They'll say, is it really going to cost $8 to ship this? If that item weighs, I don't know, 18 ounces, I can go back and say, yes, this has to go in a padded envelope because it weighs more than 16 ounces. Like, and they have that there to show that you like are knowledgeable, which I just think like reassures them some.
If you have extra room for photos, like we recommend filling up all 12 photos anyways, or I think it's 16 on Posh. But like measurements and weight are really good to put in there, especially measurements. The only real reason we do the weight, because we could really just weigh the item and then type it into the draft. But the reason that we do it that way is because we do things in bulk. So we're bulk photoing everything. And at the end of that process, the employees are folding the item up and putting it in a plastic bag. And we don't, like, once that's done, we don't want them to have to get the item out again. So we tell them that all the information that you need for the listing needs to be in your photos. That way it's packaged up, you can put it away, and you can just sit down at your computer and fill out the whole listing. So they need that information, and that's why we do it that way. But you ultimately could, if you do it a different way, put it in there. But I agree with Nikki that I think it does like promote buyer confidence, and it does help if you're cross posting and you don't have the list perfectly planned where your weight moves over, you could use that.
Yep. Piece of Scrap says no purse, wear a fanny pack. We have somebody else mentioning that they will wear like leggings with extra pockets in them. Carla, you ain't gotta apologize for venting. That's like 90% of what we do all the time is vent about all the things, but I can totally understand why you were frustrated. We've had our own instances of things where like the managers haven't dealt with them very well either. Coming from very corporate backgrounds, like we both know how we would have handled it in that situation. And we found ourselves a little bit frustrated by their like lack of ability to get rid of some people who really should be getting gone out back.
The thing is that some of the managers are also the same people that are holding stuff and handing them to your friends, which like, I mean, if you think about it, if you yourself had that connection with the manager, you'd be happy about it. But like, ultimately, I think people just need to try and do the right thing. Like, I think it's fine to like ask what time are you going to be putting new racks out and then make sure you're there at the time. But as far as like holding items back, I mean, if it happened to us, obviously I'd be grateful for it, but would I think it was absolutely fair? Not really. I think that'd be an advantage that I had over other people.
There's a person that in a store near us-ish that was doing that, and Goodwill found out about it, and they ended up firing that manager for it. So I can tell you, like, Goodwill definitely has a policy against that they're not okay with it, especially because if they're holding it, then that means that they probably know that it's, like, high quality, and those are the things they should be sending in online. But like I said, it might be worthwhile for you to reach out, maybe call into the store and say, hey, I have a complaint. If that doesn't do you any good, then try to push it up the chain a little bit. But
there's good advice that my old manager gave me, and it's don't let something that's unacceptable become acceptable. So if you don't say something, that's going to be happening to a bunch of people. So like, I personally feel if I have to do my due diligence, that if I see something like that, that I am informing someone and at least attempting to get it to stop, because it's not good.
Choosing to say nothing is still saying something. Yeah. So that's one of our biggest mottos, is saying nothing is still saying something. Lucia says that when she goes to the bins, I find pennies inside the bins. It's a sign from you.
Oh yeah, lucky
good luck pennies.
I like that.
Yeah, Mike, you definitely have to watch your IKEA bags too. People will steal those as well. We find them in the bins all the time though, surprisingly, and like people like never pick them up. So I don't know why, but some people do and some people don't.
Yeah, there's usually like a purse section. So if you walk in and you don't have a reusable bag, there's probably some reusable bags that you could get out of the bin and use. And you know, obviously purchase if you want to take them with you, but at least to use while you're there. Hey guys, we have 131 people watching and only 23 likes. So if you could take a second and give us a thumbs up, it helps boost the channel and it's a free way to support us. Thank you.
Jane Zambrowski says, people fight over shoes at my bins, not so much clothes. Shoes and bags tend to be what seems to me, in my personal opinion, the most heated of the like things that people fight over at the bins. I think it's because like clothes you pick up and you have that item in hand and like it's yours.
Yeah.
Where it's shoes, you only have one item most times and you need the second one to kind of commit to it. So I think that kind of grabs people to be a little bit more aggressive.
We don't frequently go to new shoe bins because if you go over there, everybody's just grabbing because there's so much competition that people, without even like checking to make sure that they actually want the shoe, if they think they do, they just throw it in their cart, and then you're not going to find the mate for that shoe. So we usually wait until like the chaos has died down and people start sorting through what they've just put in their bag and throwing it back. That way we're more likely to actually find like the pair, you know.
That's what Piece of Scrap says. No, I think I just hide it and hope that they put theirs back.
Yeah,
that's what we do sometimes. Like we'll go source through the shoe stuff, hang on to it all, and then like right before we leave we go back and just see if anybody tossed it back. Miranda, we were using crossbodies and we kind of stopped because after a while like they do weigh on your shoulders quite a bit, so she switched to a backpack and I just don't carry anything anymore.
I kind of want one of those crossbodies that's almost like a sling bag, but it like sits right here. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? They're very similar to like fanny packs, but they're structured so that it sits like right here. I was thinking about using one of those, but the crossbody thing, I don't think it would have been bad had I had a wider strap, but it really effed up my neck, like really bad.
Carla, don't let it ruin your entire vibe. We have some stores that we go to where like it's full of resellers and it makes it a little bit hard for us to go shopping there, a little bit agitating. Then we have some that there's literally no other resellers in at all. And we can like really take our time and look through. If you're finding yourself really frustrated and like ruining your vibe and lack of motivation, I would recommend going somewhere else. Like find another mom and pop store that you can go check out. Find another location, maybe avoid the bins for a little bit. Kaylee and I will tell you 100%, like if we pull into the bins parking lot and we're not feeling it, like we're leaving, because you're either in it and you're ready to go and you're in the mentality or you're not. And if you're not, then it's just never a good experience. So I would definitely maybe stick with places that can be a little bit more welcoming to you, and kind of get you that motivation and that high back that you're looking for. And then eventually, if you feel like you're ready, you could go back. Sorry, this keeps jumping everywhere. Mary Beth brings up a point that a lot of people will grab bundles of things at the bins, then go back and look at them and throw back what they don't want. Some of the best things that you can find are in throwbacks.
Yeah.
One thing we often do is we walk the ends of all the bins to check for all the throwbacks, and a lot of times we find a lot of stuff there that people have thrown back that they just either don't know enough about or don't think that they're good enough for them, but we know that we can flip and sell pretty quickly. It's always a really good like secret find.
It's surprising the stuff that people throw back sometimes. I'm like, why would anyone throw this back? But some people are just there shopping.
Old Souls on Poshmark talks about really checking carefully over your items. So a lot of those items are flawed. So you want to make sure that you do check them. We are very careful on white or like cream colored items. Anything that we find that's like white or cream colored, I normally check and then give it to Kaylee or vice versa. Just as like a second look, because you never know.
Cashmere is always almost going to have a hole in it, so keep your eye out for that.
Yes. We have some people talking about the Hulkin bags. We do not use those at retail stores. We typically only use those at the bins. We do throw them in the back of the car, though, to bring in all the stuff that we ever get, or that we get from Goodwill or like wherever we're sourcing for the day. Because if not, we're like lugging all those bags and we tend to rip the handles off. So we do typically throw the Hulkin bags in the car. It's just like a carry it all in kind of thing.
Yeah. I actually tried. There was a thrift store that I went to. It was a Goodwill, and they were completely out of carts, but it was in like a bad area, and so they had signs all over the door that you're not allowed to bring like large your own bags in, and like backpacks are no and stuff. So I tried to go through the whole store like holding items. I had like a stack this big on my arm, and I kept like switching arms, and it got to be too much where I couldn't carry it anymore. So I was like, I'm just gonna go to the register and I'm gonna check out, and I guess I'll just come back in and start the whole process over again because I wasn't finished. And I asked them while I was there if I could bring in one of those bags, and they told me no. So, and they know that I'm there all the time too. So I think it's just like, I don't think we would even be allowed anywhere but the bins.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on where you're going. I know we've taken them into other places, but a lot of people have gotten kind of weird about reusable bags because a lot of people steal things in them. So I think that's kind of why they've gotten away from it. But
yeah.
Do you guys send coupons to customers, or do you guys use coupons in general?
I don't know enough about that yet. I know that a lot of people are having success with that, and I know that I need to use them, but I have not looked at them enough. I just like played around with it the other day and created one and sent them when I sent my offers. But yeah, I just haven't honestly used it yet, and I know that I need to, but I think it'd be good. I'm currently like working on learning all of the promotional like sales tools that eBay has. Like, I'm aware of them, but I don't quite know how they work or how they look to a customer. So I'm like kind of just researching that right now, and hopefully within the next month we'll be using all of them. But we do use promotions, so at any given time there's always a promotion that a customer can use, but I'm not very familiar with coupons yet.
Mitch Letterman says, are there thrift stores you no longer shop at since the price hikes from inflation? I wouldn't say we like completely have banned any, but we might put those last. There's a few specific stores I'm thinking of, we talked about last week, that stuff is generally marked up at, and it takes us a lot longer to go through. I avoid them when like I'm sourcing solo, just because I know that I can typically get better items for cheaper at other places. But I think if we like hit all those other stores and like everything was done, like we had gone everywhere we wanted to, I definitely think that I would still hit them. But those are like my last case stops. Like once I've hit everything else. What about you?
I mean, we found some holy grails at that one before. Like, I think about those Steve Madden boots we got. Like, I think for me, like, there are particular stores that we kind of avoid, but we might hit like, let's say once every month or every 2 months. But we know that certain sections are usually better. So like, I'm thinking of one that I know probably is going to have good shoes. They like, everything else is priced up super high, but then their shoes are really good. But I would say we do in general avoid them, but we don't X them out completely. And you know, the flip side of that is there was like, people generally think that consignment stores are really expensive, right? And so we completely avoided them for a long time. And we would even go in occasionally and try to find stuff, and it just never ended up being good. Well, then we found out like their clearance schedule there essentially, and now it's become this place that is super expensive. We kind of know what section to go to now, and it's become like one of our ones that we want to hit like every week, if not every other week. But I think it just really comes down to like, you find out what's worth it in each store.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say nail down a planned sourcing route, hit all the great ones first, and then hit the ones that you're kind of iffy on, but maybe making sure that you only hit the portions of it that you know are pretty good.
Yeah.
Carla, you can totally do what you want. I'm gonna give you some tough love for a second, because that's who I am. So sorry. I wouldn't let a pair of shoes like completely ruin your day, because ultimately like that speaks more about them than it does about you. If they really want to yell at you and curse at you and fight for you over a pair of shoes, I would literally hand it to them and be like, you know what? First of all, I hope you have the day that you deserve, because you're being a complete psycho and you deserve to have somebody else go psycho on you. But second of all, I'd be like, you know what? Like, you clearly need these more than what I do, because that's not the kind of person I am. I will not fight somebody over a pair of shoes. I'm not fighting somebody over a sweater or anything else. Like, if you really need it that bad, bless you. I hope you have a better day, because you clearly need it. And don't let people ruin your mojo for that, because it's just not worth it. And like, honestly, again, tough love here. You're like letting them win because you're so mad about it. Like the negativity that you're feeling for them, you're only internalizing because they're not hearing it. You're the only person that's feeling it, hearing it, interacting with it, and you could dwell on it and like let it be what it is, but also at the same time, like I would just let it go. Like I know that that doesn't help the way you feel, but let it go, move on. Like that sucks to be them. Like if they're really that troubled of a person, then let them do them. You know what I mean?
Every time that we've had something like that happen and we've just been like, you know what, not worth it, later on that day we always find really great stuff. Like I don't know what it is, it's karma full circle. Like I promise. Like it always comes back around and you end up finding great stuff.
That's also my favorite line. Tell people have the day you deserve. Because they just look at you like, are you being a jerk or are you complimenting me?
Yeah.
And you let them dwell on it. Like that's on them. So Trendy Hunter wants to know, what was your best ever find at the bins?
I've been asked this multiple times and I almost hate it when it gets asked because I know what it is, but I can't remember the brand. I went there with my sister. This is before I started reselling, so it's been a while. And she was helping me source, and she actually, I think she found it. And she was like, hey, you said to look for cashmere. This is cashmere. And it was this like really big men's scarf. Well, it ended up being a designer. I can't remember the designer. I think it starts with a C.
I don't remember.
If you said it, I'd be like, that's the one. But it's a popular designer, but apparently not popular enough that I can remember it. But it was a 100% cashmere sweater that had like the spell out of the designer. And this is when I first started reselling and prices were like super cheap. I was doing it part-time. And it ended up going for like $350. And it was from the bins. I probably paid like $1 for it at the time. And that was my all-time best find at the bins that I always remember. There have been some other like really good like grails that we found at the bins, but that's the one I remember profiting the most on. Yeah. How about you? Can you remember?
There's a sweater that I can't think of either. There's 2 cashmere sweaters I remember specifically finding at the bins. They weren't like great, but like they were my holy grail finds because I was really excited to find them. One was a Henry Bendel 100% cashmere sweater. Fun fact, there's Harvey Bernard and there's Henry Bendel. And if you ask me, every time I pick one of them up, I'm like, okay, wait. I have to stop and think about it. Which one of these is good? Which one of these is bad? So I literally picked it up, said, oh, this is Harvey Bernard. It was not. It was Henry Bendel. And I tossed it back and kept moving. And then a little bit later, I ran into something else and I picked it up and I was like, Harvey Bernard, Henry Bendel. And she's like, wait, hold on. Is this Henry Bendel or is it Harvey Bernard? And I was like, this one's Harvey Bernard. And she was like, yeah, that one's not good, but Henry Bendel is. And I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah. And I was like, wait, there was a cashmere sweater back there. And she's like, find it. So I took back off to the bin and ended up finding it. And I think we ended up selling it for like almost $100. So again, not like top notch, but, and then there was another one. I want to call it, I don't know. It started with an M. It's that French brand. Do you remember?
Oh, no, I can't. I know what you're talking about, but
it's a French brand. It starts with an M. And again, it was 100% cashmere.
Apparently, we just have really good luck with cashmere.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know. I think we sold it for like 150. Like it was very good, top notch. But those probably my best bin finds. You also found that vintage Metallica T-shirt that sold for like $350.
That was a really good find. I found a vintage WWE, what's his name, Macho Man T-shirt that went for I think over $100. And then I found a vintage Metallica band tee that went for,
I think it was like $350.
No, I don't think it went for that much, did it?
I'm pretty sure it did.
I can't remember. It was at least $100.
I think it was more than that.
And then we found that Pendleton Aztec wool vest that was like brand new.
Yeah.
So we found some really good stuff there, but it's just like, you know, we would go to the bins and it's like every couple of weeks you could guarantee you're going to find a holy grail like that. Like I haven't found anything probably more than $50 there in a while. Yeah.
Yes, Mitch and Jane, we do get kind of frustrated, especially with like the jeans increase. Our jeans right now in our rough area are $7 or $6.99, and those are a little bit more frustrating because there's a lot that we should technically still pass on, that we still like pick up because like we know they're going to be good sales. God, why do we do that every time? It's just a YouTube thing. I don't know why, and it drives me nuts. Like it's a personal pet peeve, but Those do drive me nuts that like we're spending so much on them, but we do know that they're going to be a quick flip, so we picked those up.
It makes me mad when I go in and they have like American Eagle jeans priced for like $25, but then like a Lily Pulitzer dress is $4.89. Like that's the stuff that irritates me. It's like what, like
Nike always gets marked up to
Yeah.
like $9 at
Yeah.
Goodwill, and then like you said,
Columbia.
you have Lily Pulitzer that's like $5, and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, that's
But-
cool. I'll take Lily Pulitzer instead of Nike. It's
Yeah,
fine.
but it just goes to show that like you have to be more knowledgeable than the people at Goodwill, right?
BG wants to know if we're having any issues with shipping options while creating a listing. eBay updated it a month ago, and I can't stand it. For example, when I end my item to relist it, eBay changes shipping option.
We have actually noticed some issues, but I couldn't pinpoint like what the problem was. We also had this little glitch that like it wouldn't let us choose first class. But what did you figure out was the issue? Wasn't it the package option?
Yeah, so it gives you like 3 package options of like a letter, like padded envelope, like a package. There's like 4 options you can pick for how you're packaging first class, and it was auto like selecting letter instead of like a package, and so it kept
different option than the
Yeah.
regular shipping.
it kept telling us that like the max weight was like 5 ounces or something, and I was like, this is not first class. But we finally figured that out, and it is fixed. I don't know if you're using like the new listing tools versus the old listings tools or what that looks like for you. I can tell you on the new listing tool, they just changed shipping again like last week, and it is way easier for me than what it had been. So hopefully that fixes a lot of your issues. But to be honest with you, we don't end and relist from eBay, so I'm not exactly sure how that works for you as far as like the changes on that. But as far as just us like listing and the shipping portions of it, we haven't had any issues since they updated it last week. Now, knock on wood, that means it's fixing your problem too. But
If you guys are new to eBay, I don't know if you guys saw, but let me see. It's on the board there. September 20th, they are changing. Well, that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
September 20th, they are changing item specifics in a lot of categories, and I believe some of those are clothing. And every time they change item specifics, or really anything in the back end, like eBay has a ton of glitches. Like I can remember one year I lost like half my photos. It was a big nightmare for a lot of people. So every time they change something, like stuff gets messed up. So you just kind of have to be aware of that and allow yourself a little bit of extra time to prepare to fix things. And I did notice that eBay now, thank God, put a banner at the top now that says you may experience like listing issues over the next couple weeks because we're working on item specifics. So like at least they're trying to get ahead of it a little bit, but definitely every time they change stuff, there are glitches. It gets better every year, I think. This year's not been so bad, but we have noticed like a few things here or there. So just keep that in mind. Tomorrow, item specifics are changing. Who knows what'll happen?
pray for us.
You want,
Pray for
and
all
you,
of
you're
us.
gonna want to check tomorrow or the next day after the whole process has gone through and go to your active listings and look at those quick filters to make sure there's nothing that says required item specifics that you need to change, because if you don't update them and get those filled in by like whatever their deadline is, they'll probably give you about a month. Your listings will just disappear. So keep that in mind.
Wendy wants to know if we'll be attending eBay Open. If so, what sessions are you planning to attend? I can't talk today.
That is this week.
Yeah, we kind of talked about maybe running it in the background if we're here,
signed up
but
for it.
I don't really know what that looks like. So we've kind of got some personal things going on at the office that might kind of change our schedules for the week, trying to figure out what that looks like. But we talked about maybe having our employees listen to it while they were here during the day, since we probably won't be. Maybe we could even turn it on in the car when we're driving between different stores later. But we probably won't be actively paying attention to what's going on, but we might jump into a couple. So as far as like specific sessions, I don't really know.
I think I keep seeing email. I did sign up for eBay Open, so we are available to like join it, but it'll be hit or miss. But I did see an email that's like sign up for the session, so I don't know if I just completely missed it and we just can't get into a session, or if it was just like early access or what. So I don't know. I gotta look at that. I'm not that concerned about it because we didn't, like, it's not in person. And so I just figure I'll look at whatever changes they have afterwards and figure it out. But I think we'll probably at least tune in. And I don't know if you guys saw, but they have like incentives now for joining. So you can like earn prizes and money and different things for like attending certain things or commenting on certain things. So I don't know.
I don't know, but I am excited for Poshmark Fest. Like, Posh Fest is about to be my life. I have focused so much on what to wear and what I want to pack. Like, it's not even this week, and like, I already want to start packing. I can't start packing because I don't even own enough clothes to do that. But I could start packing, theoretically. I'm very excited. So, Marilyn says that she heard the post office is doing away with regional boxes. I have not heard that, but I still have shipping to take, so maybe I'll take it today and ask about regional boxes. If you really like them, I don't know if you'll be able to like stock up on them and use the options until they're gone, or if they're just getting rid of them. But I will find out. I will do some digging. I will ask our postmaster today because we are friends, and we will find out for sure. And I will report back to you guys.
I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying that every year a rumor comes out. Like, I think last year they said they were getting rid of the padded flat rate envelopes, and I was like,
that would be detrimental.
Oh my god. But yeah, it just never happened. So I would just be careful. But I do know there is a price increase at the beginning of the year coming up with shipping. That's true.
Somebody said sourcing consignment is their bread and butter lately. Mary Beth, sorry.
It's been really good.
It has been good.
Yeah.
Ashley, thanks. I'm glad you love the tough love. I always I'm fearful. I'm not even gonna lie. I try to be very like genuine, but I feel like every time I'm genuine, like some psycho comes out of the troll dungeon and likes to be grumpy about it or refer to me in things that make my heart sad. But you will also find out from me that I just say whatever comes and hope to God it's not a curse word. Because
it's tough, but it's in love. We mean well.
It is. It is in love. I do mean it. I just think sometimes you can just throw it all on the table and make people mad and move on, or you can tiptoe and make people happy, but then they suck. So I don't know. That's my tough love. Great advice. They said Timothy says I would hang on to the shoe, walk away, and then throw it in the glitter bin.
The glitter bin.
That would do it.
We never go to the home items. I don't even know if we could find a glitter bin.
Oh, I can find one. I can find something. Trendy Hunter, thank you. They say you are my hype girls. You keep me motivated. You guys are my hype team. Yeah. Like, all you guys are commenting, and it makes my heart so happy. And then, like, it honestly motivates me for the entire week. And, like, let's talk about, I think CC Lovely's Grace in the beginning said, like, way to be, what was it? Consistent. We, like, preach consistency all the time, but then, like, we're not always the best at consistency for YouTube. So when we get on and you guys are like, good to see you, it's like, all right, we got to do this again. Like, we got to keep going. So it helps us too. Monica says, good morning. I'm cleaning and sorting in my laundry room from a hoarder personal buyout. Yes. My Louisiana version of a bins haul. No bins within 5 or 6 hours. That works too. I'm having another slow week. I've been pretty consistent listing 8 to 10 items a day, but really messed up 2 weeks ago and didn't list much. I guess it's hurting me now. How is Monday shipping? Yeah, that can really make a difference. We like had a couple weeks where we were training and like trying to get things kind of fluked over, and we didn't cross post to Poshmark for like, I don't even know. It was like 2 weeks, like consistently. We weren't doing it as consistently as we were. And like Poshmark really dropped for us for, I don't know, probably a couple weeks following, but
then we were consistent, and then they went like
skyrocketed.
We're really good. They've actually, Posh sales have actually been really good for the past few weeks.
I was trying to figure out
our sales have dipped a little bit. I was kind of catapulted into like usually we're between 3,000 and 4,000 a week. We were doing between 4,000 and 5,000 consistently for a couple weeks. Now we've dropped back to that 3,000 to 4,000. So our sales have taken a dip too, but I think it's just the holidays, and I don't know, like I feel like all holidays except for like the gift giving holidays like Christmas, Easter sometimes and stuff like that, they really dip around those holidays, and then once you move into gift giving season, you see your sales start to pick up more. So I would say over the next couple of weeks it's gonna go back up again.
I was just looking, we ended up with 58 for today. For a Monday, like I would say that's about average-ish.
Are you sure? I thought we had 60 something.
No, I rough mathed. I thought we had 35 on eBay. I'm
pretty sure we had 60 something.
Maybe it was 60
I looked
something.
this morning.
I didn't look this morning. I was trying to guess. We had 23 on Posh, and I thought last time I looked at eBay it was like 35. So we were just about 60-ish, which is about average for us, is what I was going to get at. We're pretty about average. But last week it was like a Tuesday because of Labor Day, and we had as much on a Tuesday as what we 2 weeks ago. As what we would have had on a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So we do typically notice like week of and maybe even the week after it's a little bit slow. I know holidays do kind of throw people off.
But we haven't changed how much we're listing this. So I don't know if that's like any kind of insight into your sales, but we've listed the same amount pretty much for over a year now. But we're now this week starting to up how many we're listing. So we'll see if it changes, but eBay definitely, like, you don't see the changes you make till a couple weeks later. So if you're doing really good one week and you're listing a bunch consistently, a couple weeks you'll have like really good sales, and then vice versa. As you said, 1 week you didn't list hardly anything, you're gonna see that like a couple weeks from now. So it's just good to be aware of it so that when you're sinking your ship you don't freak out because you know why it's happening.
Timothy, we are not going to go into conversations about Xbox because we could be here forever, but yes, we both do find things that we go home and do to relieve stress after we've had a frustrating day.
I tried playing Elden Ring, guys, and it's a lot of fun, but it's like Dark Souls and you can't die in it, and it's very frustrating. So I stopped playing for a while. And
Cutting her off.
I haven't had time.
How did you guys get so far ahead? Seems like I struggle finding enough to do the 12 a day now. I'm wanting to get a bank for emergencies. The bins was our go-to. We talked about that earlier. Whenever we were getting behind, the bins was kind of our go-to. When I said earlier we were behind, I mean it. I'm kind of looking at the board back here. We were originally sourcing a week ahead. So what that meant was we were sourcing, like, this whole week was completely done. And then by the end of last week, we would have wanted to be at least a significant chunk ahead for the following week. But we're not really there anymore. So theoretically, this week should have already been finished. We have 151 items currently, and that is not enough for the week. We would need 235 to be where we wanted to be with both of our employees. And we're just not where we want to be quite yet. That being said, we are trying to work on getting there. Are you going to the post office? Will you ask them about regional A's and regional B's? When you go in, just say, hey, I heard a rumor you're getting rid of regional A's and B's. Can you confirm or deny?
Okay.
And let us know when you come back?
Yep.
Our new girl's going to let us know. We're very excited.
The long short of it, guys, is when we did that, whether it's bins or regular thrift stores, in order to get a week ahead, you have to double the amount of time that you're sourcing. So if you normally only go sourcing 2 days a week at 4 different thrift stores, then you need to go 4 days a week at 8 different thrift stores, and you have to do you have to do a week's or 2 weeks worth of sourcing in 1 week. Like, that's the long short of it, essentially.
Unfortunately, when we get behind, we do source typically 4 to 5 days a week just to get ahead. Ideally, we'd like to stick to 3 days, but that just hasn't been something that's been able to happen right now. We do intend on getting there once we get our new girl trained and kind of get some personal things worked out here at the office. But our major bank over here is not very big right now. And that is slightly concerning to us. We've had lots of conversations about it, but at this point we're just doing the best we can. We have talked about maybe splitting up routes and hitting multiple stores, each one of us taking a different route and hitting, 2 times as many stores on the days. We talked about setting 30-minute, limits. Okay, we're going to literally run these stores as fast as what we can. We have a lot of conversations about that, but ultimately what it comes down to is you have to hit more stores and get more items. It
sounds so simple, but
it's not. It's really not. There's a lot of days where Kaylee and I will stay late. You know, we'll hit a store at 4 o'clock instead of coming back. We'll try to stay, you know, a little bit later to do those. We'll, you know, if we're here in town, I almost slipped up. That was bad. That was very bad. It was very close. We're here in town. What we will typically do is we do have some local ones that typically don't do as well for us, but if we know we're going to be here anyways, we might make a trip to go ahead and hit some of those just to see if we can get anything. If we get real desperate, we clean out our closets. There's a lot of things like seasonally you're not going to wear anymore, or that like maybe you've been hoarding and they don't fit you anymore. We will bring those and get rid of them. There might be some people that, you know, have brought us some items from yard sales or things like that before. We might reach out to again and say, hey, we've gotten items from you before. We're in a need for items. Do you have anything? You could always post on Facebook and ask if anybody's out there that has anything that you guys are looking for that would be willing to donate.
I think one of the best pieces of advice I can give for that, and anybody in our situation, and this is where I think we get caught up, is you have to determine it's better to go to more stores, less sections. That's just the long short of it. And I think that we in the beginning were really good. We were like, okay, 30 minutes at each store. We're only going through men's, and then we're going through the most profitable women's sections, the dresses and the like
pants or shoes.
Yeah, even the pants and jeans. I noticed a lot of women's jeans and stuff have not been doing well for us. Shoes. And then that's all we did. Lately, we've been slipping into, well, since we're here, we'll just go into the top section. And since we're here, we'll go into the shorts. And it starts becoming like, instead of 30 minutes, you're there for an hour. And instead of getting to 4 stores, you're getting to 2. And you really limit. Yeah, we've been really bad about that. And you really limit yourself, even though you might spend half an hour to go through the tops, you might only come out with 1 item. Whereas we could have spent that extra 30 minutes going to another store, looking at, you know, another men's section and coming out with 20 items from the men's section. Like, that's where I think we're getting caught up, and we're trying to reel it back in. So we have talked about this week doing 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think it would be good for us to just set limits. I don't know. We're going to test it. We'll give you a couple ideas next Monday when we end up doing another live. Let you know kind of what we've worked out this week. I do think we're going to shoot for the 30-minute windows, and we'll see how that shakes out. But we do offer international shipping. We do participate in the global shipping program. It is totally up to you on what you want to do, but we do international shipping. We do, what is it? eBay international and global shipping.
We use eBay's global shipping program and the international standard delivery, which typically is cheaper than the global shipping program. We have both turned on, for most of our items.
People talk about bringing fanny packs to the bins. We talked about that earlier. There's some cute fanny packs too. Those are coming back, guys.
Those really help with the shoulders too.
Yeah. Or a crossbody and cover my cart. Good morning. Download your active listings to see what is missing tomorrow. That's a good shout out, Tim. We appreciate that. The jeans at my Goodwill are $19.99. Holy. I don't know where you're from, but I'd be curious to know if you want to like tell us a state. You don't have to tell us exactly where, but I am surprised. That is very pricey.
Hi. Someone said they finally made it to the live.
Oh, wait. I think we met her.
I think we did. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. I will find it here in a second. I have a niche store on eBay, and I've tried to start a second store on eBay, but I have 0 reviews and I've not sold anything.
It's really time. It's really hard when you get started. You have to develop, like, you have to let eBay know that you're consistent, and unfortunately that just takes time. I thought about doing a separate store for niche things, but ultimately we ended up keeping one store and just doing everything, and it's been working out good. We are a little over an hour, so we will be closing this very soon. So if you have any questions, make sure to drop them down below, because we probably need to blast through the chat. We're not quite at the bottom yet, and I see a lot of comments from you guys. Also, we have 152 people watching, so if you could give us a thumbs up. I see 62 likes already. It's a free way to help our channel, so make sure to take a couple seconds and click that for us if you can. We do appreciate it.
Bobby Loves to Thrift says, hi, I can't find on eBay the new lister where to check. that you do taxes. So praying my old carries over. Do you ladies know?
I just assumed it carried over. We don't have to worry about that, I don't believe. I am honestly not sure. That's a good point. We'll have to look into that. I think it carries over, but we might want to contact eBay.
$8.50 for jeans in Augusta, Georgia.
We're very fortunate here in Ohio that even though prices for us seem like they're high, like they're nothing compared to other places.
When we source out of Ohio, like we're going on personal trips or whatever, we typically source when we're out. I've been surprised. Sometimes they're like very expensive and other times certain things are very cheap. I've been kind of surprised.
Yeah.
Seems like coats in Ohio are very expensive, and like you go to like, I don't know, Kentucky, West Virginia, like Indiana, I don't know all the places we've got. Most of those seem to be pretty cheap. So I've been surprised. I heard they're doing away with regional A, but keeping the B because it's not used a lot. We will find out. Hopefully she comes back before we're gone, but if she doesn't, I will let you guys know next meeting, or we can put it in the comments. Appreciate the tough love. You're welcome. Please don't release psychos. Yep, no psychos here. I was definitely a home run. I felt good helping her out. She's a picker. Turned hoarder. I filled my SUV for $300. That's good.
That's awesome. We need to find some hoarders around here. That's what we need to do.
I'd like to bring 2 large IKEA bags. They now make you give over your driver's license for a cart because people were stealing the carts. Holy moly. That's like a little excessive, but fun fact, if you don't know, we talk about being from corporate places. Most shopping carts are like $3,000 a piece for a store to purchase. So I can kind of see it.
Our locations have had issues with that, but you know what they started doing?
Oh, I forgot.
They have a giant like pole now so that they can't even physically get out the door, which is a good idea, but it's kind of funny. Like you'll be shopping and then you'll just see these little poles like walking
running around.
So, but I'm glad they do it because, you know, that's gotta suck for the store.
Any advice on how to start an eBay store from zero? Carla, we have a video about, it's like eBay for beginners. You can find it if you just go like search Kaylee Elaine and then type eBay for beginners. You should find it. Maybe Little Miss Nat will do me a favor and drop it into the chat box for you to find. But I think it would be a good way for you to kind of, well, I guess walk through that or watch the video. It kind of helps set up your first eBay account. Smash the like button. Thanks, Little Miss Nat. Have you looked into blue boxes? Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Is that food?
It's Blue Apron.
I was like, are we talking about meal kits now? Because I cook. I don't need those.
It's,
oh God.
It's the Goodwill blue boxes, I think is what you're referring to. Hey, good morning. But no, I've like looked into them. Like I've watched a couple people do hauls on them and I just wasn't impressed. Like I just think like Goodwill's filtering through everything that they're doing. Like you're probably not going to get good stuff in there. So we're not big fans of like mystery boxes. We're not big fans of liquidation. Even like the Thredup boxes. Like I've just watched so many now that it's just almost always it sucks. So we just don't waste our time.
Sounds like our friend. Sounds like our friend. I hear the wheels.
Oh yeah, she's coming in. We'll have an answer soon.
Do you guys, or how do you guys prepare for your taxes? I'm gonna make Kaylee eventually do a video on bookkeeping. We're not gonna talk specific about taxes, but about how we like keep track of stuff. But that will come eventually.
I have my own spreadsheet that I basically just take the reports from the platforms and take that information and put it on my own spreadsheet. But taxes are different depending on what city you're in, what state you're in. So you definitely want to get with a CPA, an accountant, whatever, and get those squared away.
What's the verdict?
They said they got rid of C, but he said they haven't heard anything about it. But if they do, he wouldn't be surprised because it's cheaper to do it the other way.
Okay. So we haven't had regional C's in like forever, but
he said if you couldn't do it, then Because you would know before them.
Oh, apparently we'll know before they do.
You know, that's
we won't
sad.
be able to order them.
We hear that a lot, is that we know stuff before the post offices do. I don't know if you guys' post office have told you that, but they're a lot more preferential to the customers than they are their locations, which is really sad.
I'm definitely going to have to like go try to order some today just to see if they're still on the website or not. So I'll do so. We'll see what we come up with. But the sad thing is they really do leave our post office hanging here in town. And we honestly most times order their shipping supplies for them because they can't do it themselves. So
yeah. What's a regional C? I've never even heard of
no,
a regional
I was like,
C.
what? Shows how long he's been a postmaster. You were lazy all weekend, trying to step up the game. Girl, me too. I like was such a bum this weekend. I watched a bunch of football and did nothing.
I need a coffee. I think I'd be motivated if I get a coffee.
Can't get too high when sales are good or too low when sales are bad. It's tough, but that's the way to make it long term in sales. That is true.
Yeah, and we always say, like, if you're feeling frustrated, go onto your sales report and look at how your sales were compared to last year. Especially on eBay, it's an easy like search. You just go to your performance tab, search your dates, and then do compare to same time last year, and then look at how much you've actually grown. If you haven't grown, that's an indicator you're not doing something right. But like most of the times when I'm like, you know, last week we had $4,500 in sales. This week we have $3,500. Well, I go back and look at what last year was, and I'm like, oh, last year we were doing like $1,200 a week. So like, I don't know.
Don't let it drag you down.
Just look at your overall growth over a bigger period of time because there are so many ups and downs.
Letitia wants to know about whether we're planning on sourcing around Posh Fest. We originally had planned to go sourcing, and we kind of had thought a little bit about it, and it's a resellers convention essentially, so everybody there is going to be reselling. If we can find some like maybe off the beaten path places that most people might not go, maybe we'll check a couple out. But as far as like the first few that are going to pop up in your search history on Google when we get there, we're probably not going to go there just because we know it's going to be inundated. I'm not going to talk about when our flight gets there necessarily, but if we got there early or late enough that we thought everybody else was gone or hadn't arrived yet, just based on kind of what we're seeing at the hotel, maybe we'll hit a couple. But we also feel like it would be a waste of time to go through and search for, you know, a lot of stuff where people are already going.
We just aren't really going to have a whole lot of free time either.
Yeah.
But we talked about like going back down there at another time because I heard thrifting can be pretty good in that area. So maybe we'll go back another time just like on a travel trip and see.
Nicole she said that she's going back into reselling because her current job is not paying enough. Struggling with cleaning, measuring, photoing part. Any advice on how to get back into listing regularly? What's your tip? And then I'll give her my tip. Or you want me to give her my tip while you
with the
read?
Cleaning, measuring, and photo part. Is that because I've got a feeling that's probably because it seems very tedious. I struggled with that a lot, doing like the extra things. The thing that worked for me is, well, number one, we try not to pick up anything that needs cleaning. And then we added like a non-stop flow process. So like the measurements get done during photos. It's part of the photos. It's not optional. And we have to have that information to list. So it kind of forces us to do it. But ultimately, I just remember that if I have those extra things in the listing, like measurements, that's going to prevent returns down the road. It's also going to prevent so many questions. So it's going to save me time doing that work up front. But I would recommend like try not to get too many things that you have to put a lot of effort into, and then really work on a nonstop process. So like don't photo everything and then measure everything, and then, you know what I'm saying? Like make it all one process so that you're forced to do it for everything. And after a while, it just becomes part of the process, right?
What I would recommend is, and this is my first thought when you mentioned having trouble getting back into listing regularly, tells me that probably the things that you're struggling doing are the things you dislike doing the most. That's how my brain works, and that's kind of immediately where I took it mentally. If that's not the case, sorry, that's just where my head went with it. But I make myself do all the things I dislike doing first, and then keep what I enjoy doing as like a reward. Joe's not here today, or she'd tell you I told her she had to clean her litter box before she was allowed to do listings and stuff, and it has worked for her. So I would recommend kind of the same thing for you. If it's something that you just dislike doing a certain piece of the business, maybe do that piece first to see what that shakes out to be. So
some of the most successful resellers I've seen get all of their work done before noon.
yes,
They're like, I'm gonna do, I've got X, Y, and Z to do. It normally takes me 8 hours. I'm gonna find a way to do it in 4 hours, and every day from 8 to noon, I'm gonna get all of my work done. And you just find a way to make that happen and work your butt off during that time so that you can have more free time and eventually it becomes easier. Hey.
M. Jane, it was nice to meet you on Canal the other day. I was looking for you and I missed you, and I haven't seen you on Instagram. So I have missed seeing your face, and
Yeah, we're
we
glad you
haven't seen
finally
you.
made it.
We haven't seen you on a live. So I hope that you will run into us either again, or that you will join our lives again. I have looked on your Instagram a couple times just to see what kind of jewelry you have, and it looks like you're finding some cool jewelry. So pirate ship simple export rate is the best for international shipping, the cheapest option for your buyer, and always make money on shipping. We haven't experimented with that.
We're aware that we can direct ship internationally. We just choose not to because at this point in time, it's too time consuming to go to another place to print shipping labels and to deal with that. So we just choose to use a global shipping program, but we are aware that it's cheaper to do it directly and we probably get more sales from it. We're just not ready to pull that trigger yet.
Ruth says Monday morning meeting.
Yeah.
I like that. I do think that this is like a really good like check-in, and honestly it's almost like an accountability meeting for not just us but you guys as well. Like, hey, we're here, like let's make plans for the week. I do enjoy that. She said, I started 3 months ago and I'm officially in the green and I'm $6 away from 3K in sales. I'm excited. Congratulations.
Yeah. Congrats.
I still look forward to seeing you guys in the Goodwill bins. I haven't been there for a while.
West Virginia, super cheap.
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know that I've actually sourced in West Virginia. I was trying to think. I don't know.
I think you have.
Have I? Oh, yeah, you're right.
I was like, wait, what?
I was thinking like traveling. Sometimes I enjoy like going camping different places in West Virginia, and I was trying to shut up, Kaylee. That's really funny. So there are a couple stores that we do hit in West Virginia. Like when we decide that we're going to travel, we go on camping trips and stuff together sometimes. And I don't know why I wasn't thinking about them.
I see where your head was.
But I was definitely thinking about other camping places, like by myself. And I was like, oh, well, we went to that one place and we said we were going to go camping when we were there, or we were going to go sourcing while we were camping, and then we didn't because we decided to float in the pool instead.
We've only been
That's where my mind was. We've only been there a couple times, but I was like, I don't think I've ever sourced there, but it is right. I don't know, right and wrong, because I guess some of the places we've gone have had items that were more expensive, but
we are working on like looking at surrounding states and sourcing there, so maybe we're not sure where to go in West Virginia quite yet.
I want to try like Indiana and Illinois and Pennsylvania. I hear Pennsylvania is really good. I don't know.
Kentucky, the few times I've been there, the areas I was at seemed pretty good.
Is there a way to change the shipping label size? When I purchase a label from eBay, I cannot size it to 4x6. No, ours just auto prints. Isn't that a 4x6?
There's a way to do it, but it's when you go to, if it's still the same, it's been a while, ours have been the same for a while, but when you go to actually print the label, like you click buy and print shipping label, when you're entering in like the weight and stuff, that's where the settings have been before. So a lot of people think it's beforehand, that's why you can't find it, but actually go and like look, there's like shipping label settings or something there, at least there used to be.
Crystal says, thank you for all the wonderful advice and tips that you ladies have both given us, as I'm a new reseller and your help really is awesome. Thank you. Hey, good morning, Rags to Beach House. I'm gonna go to your beach house. Lloydie, hi from the UK. Hey.
We're trying to blast through some of these guys because we're getting ready to get off. See if you have
some
questions.
People are answering some other questions.
Yeah.
I love that these videos are on Monday. You ladies give me the motivation starting my week, and I love it. Yes, Monday morning accountability meeting. Patchwork said she heard the same thing about the padded rumor, so she was worried too.
Yeah. I don't think they would do that. There's too many people that use that.
Oh, so Miss Lachey 35. I don't know why I couldn't read that. I was going to say slashy. I don't know why. We have around 10 big liquidation bin stores, 5 Goodwill outlet bins, and around 40 Goodwill regular stores, 5 to 6 value village stores, 5 million Walmarts, 5 Salvation Armies, and 25 other thrift type stores here in Houston.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good.
I'm about to have to bring another suitcase just for the things I'm going to make myself bring back. Talking about people loving regional C's. I feel left out now because I didn't know that those were a thing. Those were before my time.
We use the box 7s a lot for the big stuff. They're by weight and distance. She said don't skip the food.
Don't skip the food. We will not skip the food. I will send you pictures via Instagram all the time while we're there. We'll probably do some filming while we're there too. I think that would be fun to do some filming of what it was like for us. So maybe we'll do what's Posh Fest like for us video, so you guys can kind of see what it's like. You did not have to get invited, Lucia. You just had to buy tickets, but it looks like Miss Lachey says it's sold out now. I don't know. I haven't verified that.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But I trust you, so I'm assuming if she says it's sold out, it's sold out.
They usually sell out.
Our pants in San Francisco go starting from $9.99 all the way up to $24.99.
Goodness.
MJ, if you want to know about whatnot, you're gonna have to scroll to the top because we've been banned from the subject, or we're gonna lose our viewers.
We don't use it.
We're
not planning on using it anytime soon.
We flip a coin for shoes at the bins. That's a cool idea.
Good. I don't think people would oblige that at our bins.
Piece of Scrap says, same. I do what I dislike the most first. Me too. Other than shipping. Always do shipping first. That has to be done first. I sell on Poshmark 10 times more than eBay. Same item, so I'm confused why my eBay is dead. Do you think a call to eBay would help you see if I'm missing something on the eBay site?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up because you just reminded me of something. This is really weird, guys. eBay has been calling me. Like, legit calling
religiously.
Me. Like, once a week. And the last time they called, they left a message because I didn't pick up. And they were like, hey, it's such and such at eBay. I'm a like, I don't know.
Customer service specialist or something.
Something like that. Or sales specialist. And he was like, I see that your sales are down 14%. We just wanted to call and see what we could do, if there's anything we could do to help you increase your sales. And I was like, that's weird. And then I was like, I'm going to see if it's actually 14%. And it was. Like, it was the number. He said, like, it actually was eBay. And they've called for a couple things. To be honest, my anxiety, I'm just like, I'm not going to answer them. Like, maybe I should answer and see what they say. But eBay has, like, been looking at ways to help sellers. And I don't know if you guys have gotten calls like that. But I'd be interested to know what they suggest to do. But I really... Yeah, I don't know. My eBay sales are slightly down too, but you know, it ebbs and flows and it's just something you got to deal with. I'm surprised that your Poshmark sales are significantly higher because eBay has a ton more people. I wonder if you're more consistent on Poshmark, if you interact on the platform more, if you're sending out offers, but you're not doing the same thing on eBay. That would be my guess.
I'd be curious.
Or you're not filling out because eBay needs a lot of information in the listing, and on Poshmark you just kind of type whatever. If you're not filling out all of that information in the listing, that makes a big difference as well.
Kaching's just giving some information on how to do it. Your Monday lives motivate me to keep going. I start my week with new ideas and strategies to get better in reselling. I like that. YouTube video idea. All right, ready? Rent an RV and do a thrifting tour from state to state.
Yeah.
There's going to come a time. My kids have to get a little older first because my husband might not survive.
Yeah.
But after
we've talked about it. We've talked about doing some like travel trips.
Yeah, we think that would be fun. This is really like our first travel trip with going to Posh Fest. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to source a whole lot while we're there. I don't know. I might bring another suitcase just in case we end up finding things. But I do think that would be very fun to do like weekend getaways on things. I don't know. I go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania outlets like once a month and live in Ohio. It's hit or miss, just like here. Their regular stores are pretty high. Okay, I've literally thought about the same thing.
We researched what thrift stores or like what states were the best for thrifting in the United States, and Pennsylvania came up as one of those.
Everybody's saying that they would watch that series, the Thrifting RV series.
Yeah. We just, you know what it is though, like I would love to do that, but like I just don't know how you would be able to have your kids watch for that long. Like
I'd make it work.
We could do like half of a week or something maybe.
Yeah. Fun fact, my husband just started a newish job and like now he's got some time there, so he's getting some vacation time, but I'm really curious to see how he's going to survive Houston. I say we give it a week and see what happens.
We'll see.
But I mean, I'm lucky that I've got my village to help with them as well. And honestly, summers wouldn't be too bad because they'd be at daycare most of the time. So,
yeah.
Anyways, we'll keep focused. We'll somehow find out how to make little trips happen. What do you make? When do you make offers to watchers right away, or do you wait a bit depending on when the item was listed?
The best time to do it is as soon as they watch it. People start to lose interest after that. So as soon as you can get to somebody's first interest in an item, hit them with an offer, answer all their questions, you're more likely to capture that sale. I can't always get to it right away. I have Posh VA set up for Poshmark. It sends them an offer within 5 minutes of the item being liked. Those are the settings that I have turned on. For eBay, I send offers in bulk. There's not really like, or if there is, I'm not aware of it and I choose not to use it, but like I don't have a bot necessarily set up for eBay, so I just go and send them in bulk like a few times throughout the day. So they're probably getting it within a couple hours. Could I be better about it? Yeah, I could be better about it on eBay, but on Poshmark they get it 5 minutes after, and ultimately as soon as you can get to it is the best.
Sew & Thrift wants to know if you've heard about the Thredup bed bug drama. I have not. So if you're still here, Sew & Thrift, please drop that into the comments because I need to know now.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that.
Trendy Hunter says that they would definitely watch a thrifty sourcing road trip.
See, my ultimate like idea when she first got hired, I was like, well, we could travel to each state and we could essentially rate each state and give where the best thrift stores were, like that we thought, and like what areas had, you know, essentially rate it so that other resellers. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Or super sticker. Super sticker. I can never get it right. They're all the same to me. I think that's a super sticker. Thank you so much for that. But I think we would really like to like go travel a state, like the major cities in that state, and then kind of figure out
rate them.
Yeah, and rate them and figure out what's worth your time and not as a reseller. Just our opinion, obviously. Yeah. But then that way, if we decided to travel back to a state, we would know where to go to.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. We would just have to do it in small chunks, but we could definitely do it.
Yeah. Like I went to Michigan. Do you guys remember that video? If you've been here for a while, I went to Michigan. It sucked. Yeah. But then all of you guys who lived there, you were like, yeah, you went to like the worst city to go. Like you need to go to Grand Rapids. And I was like, well, I'd like to go back there and try it.
I think we would need to do like, we would need to shout out on a live where we were going, like just a couple days before, or like a few areas. Like, okay, next up on our list is, I don't know, Michigan, Tennessee, Maine. I don't know. Just pick random states we're planning on going to, and then let you guys give us feedback on like if you're from there, where you think hits well, so we could go and evaluate it rather than just like shooting in the dark. But
I went near Detroit, and I honestly can't remember the city, but it's nearby Detroit.
Sure, with a T. What's one with a T?
I don't remember. It was near Detroit. It was not Grand Rapids.
I don't know. Yeah, I've made it to a live. I just started following you guys. I've been watched so many videos. I've learned so much. You're in my head when I source now. Thanks for all the info. Welcome. We're glad you're here. If eBay's calling you, you should answer. They've banned people for life who don't pick up and verify they are who they are.
Yeah, I've heard of that. That's BS. I'm sorry. Like on eBay's part for doing that to people.
Yeah.
But I recently actually did have
a
message that came through that was like, your payouts are currently suspended until you can verify who you are. And I had to go on and like, they didn't call me, but I had to like answer a couple things, and I was like, this is bullcrap anyways. Like, I should not have to do this, and you should not be allowed to hold my payments when I've obviously been selling here for years. Like, why do you need to verify who I am? So I did it. I was about to get real mad, but I've already verified myself recently, so I'm not worried about getting those kind of calls, but that's not cool.
Kent says they're also calling and selling extra promotions. They're calling everybody. So that's the thing too.
I've had someone from the promoted listings department call, and I did not call them back.
Don't bring one. Miranda says don't bring an extra suitcase. Buy one while you're there. I get 2 free bags anyways, and if you know me, I like barely wear clothes. Like I don't know. I'll mix and match and wear the same jeans probably the entire time.
Inside of a suitcase.
Yeah, I'll probably just pack them together and then bring another one home. I definitely pack very light. Like, I'm not hoarding clothes while I'm there, so I definitely think I could make it work. And you're right. Suitcases are definitely cheap at the stores, cheaper than paying to check in an empty suitcase. That would be true, but I get 2 free bags and I'm only going to use one. So I would not check it for no reason. But thank you for your tips. Houston is great for thrifting. I'm using eBay shipping, and the customer reported not receiving their package and asked for a refund, even though it says it was delivered. What do you think about that?
We literally just had this happen like yesterday.
It's happened a couple times lately.
Yeah. Usually what it ends up being is the post office marks it as delivered, but they don't actually deliver it to the next day. So what I normally do is I send the customer a message, and yeah, Miss Lachey 35, I agree with you. I was thinking the same thing when she said that. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yes.
But what was I freaking talking about? I'm so sorry.
We're talking about people who say they didn't get their items.
Oh, I normally send the buyer a message first and just say, hey, on this tracking, it shows that it was delivered to your address. We shipped to the address that was provided on the shipping label. It says it's been delivered. Please check with your post office and make sure they don't still have it, or check with your neighbors. Maybe it got delivered to the wrong house. Check, in your grails, underneath the chairs. Like, I have this little spiel that I get them to basically check first, because most of the time, if they wait a day, they'll end up getting it. And in addition to sending the message, we recopy the tracking number, and just because it'll say upload tracking information, I just re-upload the same tracking information. If you do nothing, they'll accept like that buyer's answer, and you'll have to refund them. So you have to do something within a couple of days. I always just re-upload the tracking, send the buyer a message, say it shows delivered, but please check. In most cases, if they still don't end up getting it, eBay usually refunds both of us. So yeah, that's what I would do. But you absolutely do want to respond.
Diventory said, I bought 300 pounds of Thredup rescue boxes and they were full of mold. I would be curious to know what they did. I'm assuming you reached back out to them. What was your response on that from them? I'm kind of curious.
That doesn't surprise me though, because they are so backed up that they won't let me print shipping labels now for Thredup boxes, and it's been that way for a while. And they're just really backed up. Like, I think they're understaffed. I think they're growing faster than they thought that they would. And so that doesn't surprise me. If inventory is sitting there, like it's coming in wet or it's damp where they're at, it's humid, whatever, like I could totally see all that happening. I assume it's the same thing with the bed bugs. I assume somebody ordered stuff, got it, and
it had stuff in it.
Yeah.
CC Lovelace Grace, you'll have to tell us if you're in Ohio too, because I would definitely like to meet up with you. I don't know if you mean here in Ohio or if you're meaning that you're going to Houston too, but let us know.
She might mean anywhere in the United States if we start traveling.
Oh, maybe that's what it means. Let us know. Comment below. Love your show. My APR is $57. I need to get to $10,000. I need to get to $10,000 a month on a regular. Do I need help or just list more? How many listings do you guys have? Thanks.
You could definitely do it by yourself if you were very strategic and you had a rigid schedule and you never faltered outside of that. My opinion is, like, once you get to a certain point, in order to grow, you are going to need help, but I would look at making sure all of your processes for yourself are super efficient and that you're completely maxed out before you do that. 10,000 a month, that's a good goal.
Yeah.
That's a good ASP though. Honestly, really good.
Kaching King says if we were gonna do a road trip thrifting, it would be good for us to do like a specific road. So like I-35 from Texas to Minnesota, or like Route 66.
Yeah.
That would be a really cool idea. Rather than just like hitting different stores, you could hit cities based on like the major roads out around the country, and that way people could make it like a legit trip.
Someone brought up a good point earlier, is that we probably shouldn't tell people in advance where we're going, because although we would love to meet up with everybody, I know that we'd get a lot of people wanting to meet up, and I know we couldn't do it for everybody, and also like just safety concerns, I don't think we would be able to do that. But maybe we'll be like the state we're in, and you guys could maybe shout out what you think are the best places.
I was thinking we could give like multiple states. Say, okay, our next 3 trips are gonna involve, I don't know, like I said, Michigan, Tennessee, Kentucky, wherever we're going.
We couldn't be too specific.
And then we could just pick which one, so it wouldn't necessarily limit it a whole lot. You'd know it was one of 3 states or whatever, but
you can't be too careful.
You cannot. I'm going to North Carolina next month. Cannot wait to thrift there. Keep us posted. We are curious. CC Lovelace Grace said, full-time seller here, shipping out 20 today. That's a great Monday. Congratulations. Awesome. We just talked about that. Thank you for hiding some people, Little Miss Nat. I appreciate you.
Wait, I want to see. Oh my God.
That's a good point. Hello and welcome.
What is wrong with people?
I don't know.
My gosh. That makes me so mad.
They didn't even take fault, but they said, hey, even though it's not our fault, we're still going to give you 15% back. Aren't we great? What the heck? That was the Thredup answer.
Oh.
They gave them 15% back. Aren't we great? I'd be like, no, you owe me 100%.
That sounds like DoorDash.
Right?
I have issues with DoorDash.
Dude, DoorDash is like the bane of my existence. They're like, I know we ordered 5 meals and you only got 1, but here's $10. No. First of all, I want my freaking meal. Second of all, I want you to give me my money back. I quit. Like, I called those people so many times. I just drive now. Kaching says he's emptying a storage locker in a pretty rough neighborhood. It's sketchy enough that I'm super ready to be finished and out of there. Yeah, safety is a huge thing. We talk about that, especially with like our newest people as they're joining us, like making sure they're ready. We are protected in many manners. That's the only way I'm going to phrase that because we're on YouTube, but we are definitely aware, and we're very cautious about what we do, where we go. We typically only go to like the sketchier neighborhoods as like a team.
Yeah.
We never really typically go by ourselves. There's only one store I've ever gone into that I felt very uncomfortable, and we literally didn't go back because of that. And then they ended up shutting it down because there were so many like people getting killed around there. So we were like, nah, we good.
Yeah. We also just like lately have been getting recognized a lot more, which like is honestly, I've not met anyone that I thought was weird or that wasn't super nice to us. So like I really enjoyed meeting people. And if you guys do see us, you know, say hi. But
just don't sneak up on us.
But it does scare me that like people are like, you know, obviously I expect that, but like it is surprising me how quickly it's growing and how many people are starting to recognize us. And like I said, so far everybody's been great, but what's going to be the one time that somebody recognizes us and they aren't great? So it does make me a little nervous.
Kaching King says there are no holy grails or unicorns out there that are worth getting hurt over, and you are correct.
Yes.
That is huge.
Absolutely.
Do you ever get your phone blown up with Poshmark notifications about adding items to a bundle? I have people adding 10 plus items and then taking them out. I can't get it to turn off. Girl, yes. Adrian, it was the other night. I'm not even kidding. It was like midnight, and somebody, and I'm thankful, don't get me wrong, but somebody added like 30 items to their cart, and not only do I get a Poshmark notification, but I get an email notification. So it was 2 notifications for each item, and I literally like kept thinking it was going to end, but it was just like, rant, 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 rant. Finally, I got up and literally just turned my phone completely off and threw it because I was like, what is this? Like, I'm trying to sleep, so... Sometimes, I do get it.
Yeah, I would say only 10% of like bundle notifications end up being a sale.
Yeah.
I mean, people just use them to save their items, right? They want to like, they use them like likes essentially. Like it's not enough that they just like an item and can go to their likes. They have to add it to like their shopping cart essentially.
CC Lovelace Grace says that she is outside of Philadelphia. So maybe we just need to make that one of our first places that we go, just to see you. You can show us all the good spots. Miss Lachey, I don't know a whole lot about Amazon selling. I'm sure there are some people online that could teach you about some Amazon selling, but that's not something that we really venture in. Little Miss Nat says she is a little weird about personal space. Yeah, me too. It doesn't freak me out as much as what it does Kaylee. Like, I don't like the bin's personal space or lack thereof. I don't like being touched by people, but like people being close to me doesn't really bother me. I'm very aware of people, I will tell you that. But it does really weird me out when we're like walking somewhere where like we don't know anybody and they're like, "Hey Nikki," and I'm like, "Who are you? And how do you know who I am?" So that does kind of weird me out a little at first. Yeah. But I mean, I literally used to work places that I wore a name tag all the time, and they would say my name, and like that freaked me out. Like, and it was right there. I'm like, "How do you know me? Who are you?" But I don't know.
I've really enjoyed everybody we've met so far. We just met a couple people last week actually. That it was nice to see everybody, but yeah, it does make us worry. Like you can never be too careful. Luckily Nikki packs everywhere, so we're good.
I'm ready.
I've got a taser in my car. We probably need to carry pepper spray on our keychains, but we're ready.
One of our women does. She carries pepper spray because our office is not like a great area. So she keeps it for just in case, and then Kaylee keeps a taser in the car, and I always have Betsy wherever I go. So
yeah.
We live in Utah up until May, driving to the Colorado bins for 6 hours away. I do prefer the Inglewood bins versus the Kearney Street ones that most resellers go to. They're the best. Just moved to Indiana, and it is not as good, but only 2 hours away instead of 6. So we go there once a week. That's cool.
I've heard really good things about the Colorado bins, but I have heard like one's better than the other. But there's a lot of people that travel, like people. There's a lot of people that travel hours to get to bins, and like we can totally relate. Not 5 hours, but I can relate.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys in the chat, but I need to get my shipping done. Our post office closes at 11. Wow, that's insane. But I do hope you have a good day.
Yeah,
Ka-ching King. Have a good one. Patty Gayton says, I'm having a hard time trouble finding the shipping supplies coupon on eBay.
If you can you pull up eBay on here?
Yeah.
I think it's under. Hold up. You gotta go to your. You gotta make sure you have a store, number one. Then you gotta go to your eBay Seller Hub, and then you hover over the store. And then you go to subscriber discounts, and then your shipping coupon should be right there.
Oh, well, you got to sign in first.
So eBay Seller Hub, there's tabs at the top. One of them is store. Hover over store, go to subscriber discounts, and you'll see your shipping coupon.
Shipping coupons, they'd be there. Here, you want to see it? Oh, I dropped the pen.
Don't give them our code.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know there was a code.
It's not showing.
I lost your pen. On here somewhere. We'll find it.
It's magnetic, so it's probably hooked on. Yep.
Oh, I was like, where did it go?
On the leg.
Thanks. Yes, Monica, I'm generally strapped and loaded, but I don't believe everybody should be strapped and loaded unless you want to be strapped and loaded, and you have licensings to do so. I get 2 other offers, but no shipping supplies coupon.
You
really?
might not
have it yet.
I haven't checked in a while, but they did change like their eBay store tiers. It really depends on the one you have. If you have like the first one, the first store, you might not be eligible for that. You want to check what you get through your store subscription. You might need to upgrade in order to get it. But if you list quite a bit, you probably would save money anyways by going to the next tier.
Little Miss Nat says that she loves that we are prepped and safe because she is too. She's a single gal. Yeah, safety is key. We use boxes or bins. I'm assuming you mean for storing inventory. We have started using banker boxes, and we were originally using totes, but we like banker boxes because 1, they're collapsible, and 2, they're really cheap, and they're cheaper than any totes we could find. So we started buying those.
They fill up the most space too. Like there's hardly any space not being used. They fit just right on the shelves. They're heavy though.
If you are looking to see what our inventory looks like, we do have a video, Tony, that says it's like our inventory system of what that looks like. I think it's just called like inventory system or something along those lines. If you look it up, you can find it. But it shows, we did like a walkthrough of how we did our inventory and like how we store everything. Banker boxes are new from there, but we do have banker boxes now.
Probably need to do an updated one, like
yeah.
a quick updated one.
Where's our woman? She's out of the way. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. I'm gonna move you. This is our current banker boxes. You can see some totes back there in the middle, but those are the boxes that we use. There, he saw them now. It's on a great video.
Oh, I gotta go that way.
Oh, sorry.
So that you're in the frame. There you go.
There. Put your water right in there. That was my.
I just want to make
there.
sure they could see you.
I noticed in your videos you have big brown boxes. At the moment I'm using bins, but they're becoming very expensive. Yeah. So I just showed you those. I don't know. Do you remember how much a box of like the big box is?
I think ours, they vary in price because I get them off of Amazon, but they usually end up being anywhere from like $4 to $6 each, roughly $5 each, which I don't know about your area, but in our area, totes are like $7 to $9 for a tote that size, which is crazy.
They're very expensive.
Yeah, so we switched to banker boxes. I think I might have even added that link in the description. I can't remember. I sent it as a link to somebody, but they're on Amazon. They're called I think they're medium banker boxes. But regardless, I wouldn't just go order what we have. You want to measure your shelves to make sure that they're going to fit. But we did switch to banker boxes. And I actually saw something at Walmart the other day that these ones come with lids, and we don't really use the lids. But I saw ones the other day that were just like file boxes without lids, and I was wondering if those would be cheaper. So I'm going to look into those. But I mean, they're pretty sturdy. They work just as well as totes for us. They are kind of bulky. They get heavy because you can put so much in them. But
yeah, we fit like
totes.
35 items or something, or 25 maybe. Maybe it's 25 in each one. They hold quite a bit. We could honestly probably put more, but we wanted to make sure that like they were still organized enough for us to be able to find stuff in them. So I don't know. I really like them. The only thing I'm kind of worried about is when we eventually move again, we don't have the lids to stack on top of them. So I'm kind of curious to see how that will go. It'll be a lot harder for us to stack, but like we took all the lids off of our totes and like we just have them stored back here randomly, and they're not very convenient either. So I switched from totes to the extra long banker boxes since I already had a super deep shelving, and added a whole extra bin per shelf for a total of 12 more boxes of inventory.
Nice.
That is awesome.
We are maxed out on the length because I thought about getting longer ones too, but if we did that, they would be like sticking out from the shelf, and we just really like the shelves that we have. They're pretty cheap. The banker boxes fit exactly right on them, so we probably won't switch.
Tony said bins are $20 in Texas. Yeah, so I would get some banker boxes. Those would definitely be a little bit cheaper for you.
Yeah,
and
I would go file box or banker box. When we looked up custom sized like cardboard boxes, it's like really how you look it up, honestly. If you look up like storage boxes, like cardboard storage boxes, they end up being very expensive. But if you look up banker boxes or file boxes, you'll find that they're a lot cheaper. So I would definitely take a look into that. Totes are very, very expensive.
Do you guys use those plastic bread bags and place them in your box? I promise that's my last question. You're fine. Let me grab you a couple of the ones that we have.
Are you talking about the clear bags?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh.
So these are the bags we use. Ouch. I freaking hate stubbing my toes. It makes me just angry. I could just punch a puppy. So these have like, I don't know if you can see this or not actually.
Open flap.
These have like a flap up here, at the top that you
think
can roll down.
I think these are in the links in the description too.
And we really like these. We have like a whole bag of them, and they just kind of sit open like this. And what I really enjoy most about them is when we go to put inventory in, we can just like toss the inventory in the bags, and then I always, gosh, I'm holding it really high. Then I flip them over, and it like keeps them from like sliding out as easily, which I do like. But she said that she thinks that those are in the links below.
The clear bags are, the banker boxes are not.
Okay,
But
looking at those.
we use the open flaps instead of the self-sealing in case we have to get the item out again.
Yeah.
And they're honestly cheaper.
Well, and they're nice because they're like a soft plastic versus the like weird
Crinkly.
like crinkly hard one.
Yeah.
They don't rip as well or like as bad, I guess.
The large clear bags description, the like bread ones that you're talking about, they're in the description too. Although I think recently we switched to ones that were cheaper, so I need to go through my supplies list. But yeah, we use open, like essentially bread bags for the larger stuff.
We do not use banana boxes from the grocery store. Fun fact, I don't know if you know this or not, but a lot of banana boxes carry in spiders from like Mexico or like wherever the bananas are coming from, and some of them are actually venomous, and I have a fear of banana boxes now from that.
They're
Fun
very
fact.
waxy too.
Yes, I don't like banana box, but that's a personal thing. And they're open, so like the tops are open and they have an open hole in the bottom. Unless you like keep the weird like perforated piece in there, then stuff falls out. But it's totally a cheap way to do it if you wanted to. Use the USPS boxes to store. Trendy Hunter, a lot of people do that, but I will tell you, you're not supposed to do that. Not that I'm telling anybody, but if you ever like take pictures of it, sometimes USPS will like come at you because they're not meant to be for storage. They're meant to be for shipping. And I know we've had some people reach out to us about that before.
You can just say that you're gonna eventually use it for shipping,
or that it was used for shipping and recycled.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I
a
would
good go-to.
I'm not gonna say anything about that. I would.
Nope.
I would probably not tell a lot of people about that
Yep.
because there's some people that'll come out to get you.
Our basement flooded in July and the boxes were a nightmare. Thinking of something else to do for the boxes on the floor. That's what totes would be great for. Yeah.
That's true. If there was a situation where they were wet, I mean, we do have them in bags and everything is off of the floor. They're on shelves, but yeah, that would be an issue.
I'm on the first tier of eBay and I do not receive discount. I just upgraded. Hopefully I receive a discount code for supplies. Hopefully.
I would, instead of just upgrading just to get the coupon, I would definitely look at how much it would cost you for a subscription, because you'd probably save money being at a certain tier. So I would definitely look at that compared to how much you're listing, how much you plan listing on every month, how much you currently have, and then compare that to the fees based on the subscription.
Sorry.
What?
Monica said her thrift store tried to sell the USPS boxes.
I've seen some posts like that. That's crazy.
That's crazy. There are also tons of chemicals that are used to ripen the bananas. I used to work in a grocery store warehouse and it's just a room full of chemicals. I could see that.
Yeah, you're right.
You may write off as a disaster on your taxes when I got flooded. Yeah, the water got in my sealed clear plastic bags. That's so bad. I'm so sorry. Yeah, we've been lucky. We haven't had any issues with inventory, but our old office, I was there one day. We were there getting ready to leave actually, and actually I think you had just left and I got ready to leave. Maybe you were still there. I can't remember. But all of a sudden we heard like this like shh sound and I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
And we opened up our office had a basement which we like didn't use. And I opened up the basement door and it was literally like flooding out of the HVAC system. Like it was running in the like vent for outside and water was going everywhere. It was not good. So I called my husband and was like, hey, my office is flooding. Can you come help me? And he was nice enough to show up. Oh, hopefully they didn't kick out. It was nice that he was nice enough to come help us get some of the water cleaned up, but it was not good. I think we're at the end of questions.
Okay.
Other than people are still talking about some like supply codes and stuff. So hopefully you guys find those. If not, feel free to like drop a comment back in like the actual comments once the video posts and we can try to help you find those if we need to. But
we're at 2 hours in, so we're gonna get off here. This is the longest we've done, but we had a good time talking with you guys. Make sure to give us a thumbs up before you leave.
We are at 93 likes, so if you could get us to 100, my heart would be happy for the rest of the day. Yes, we heard that about the regional boxes too. So 97. We need 3 more and I will be made for the whole day. I appreciate everybody who's done the super chats or super stickers today. We do appreciate
you.
And we do appreciate you guys being here and joining us from a really long live. So I hope you guys have a good
It
Monday.
was fun. There's 100.
We
Time to
will,
go.
we will see you next Monday. And that is it. Happy Monday. Happy money making Monday.
I don't know how that's gonna look.